Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Attract and Stand Out podcast, where we support women who want to stand out as thought leaders. Whether you identify as a business owner, a thought leader, an executive, a lawyer, a CPA, an attorney, I am here to help support you to find your voice and speak up for the ideas and issues and matters that mean the most to you. You are in for a treat for this next season of episodes kicking off in 2026. I can't wait to have these amazing conversations with women who are giving their heart and soul to make an impact in the world. Sena Wheeler, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you here today, and I can't wait to hear your story. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely. So before we dive too far in, I always like to start with just a little bit of storytelling. I love story. It's my favorite way to learn about people. I'd love for you to tell me just a little bit about you and how you came into the work that you're doing today.
Well, sometimes I describe it as kind of full circle because, like many people, I had no idea I would get here. And I remember being kind of young and starting out in a corporate and just like, how do people get where they're going? And, it's so mysterious. But now, being on this side of life, it's like, oh, it all kind of makes sense and brought me here. So, just I'll try to be kind of quick about it, but I grew up in we say fifth generation fishing family, but my grandfather immigrated from Norway where he commercially fished, and so did his father and his father. And my parents say it's probably more like 300 generations of commercial fishing. So I grew up in that world, and it was very normal for me. My dad fished, my uncles fished, my grandpa fished. There were lots of boats in our family, and checking on the boat and the fishing kind of lifestyle is just what we lived and what was very normal. My mom grew up in it, so that was normal for her too. So I think that I've learned that that's not it's not normal. It's interesting. People are like, "Oh, wow, really?" So growing up with a lot of fishing, eating a lot of fish. My mom also owned a health food store, so we ate pretty healthy. And then I went to school, and I thought I was going to be a airline pilot
Fun.
until I flew a plane and was like, "Oh, that's not for me." But life guides you funny ways. So I ended up in nutrition, was like, "Oh, this is just stuff I love learning. I feel like everybody should take nutrition classes." And ended up getting my a master's in food science, and where I worked on fish, and ended up getting my whole, master's degree. Basically, I found a professor that was doing research on fish, and he needed somebody, so I ended up getting a, full scholarship for doing this research on fish, which hadn't been my plan. But I emailed him and said, "Oh, I grew up fishing with my dad, on a boat and all these things." And so I was like, "Oh, perfect." So fishing always kind of came back. I ended up working in corporate for food science for almost a decade, and that was more of a national food company. Did not have to do with fish, but it was quality, where we would kind of sell fish on the side because my husband was then a fisherman. And after that, I ended up being home with my kids. So I stayed home for a few years. And then we started Sena Sea. So we started selling Rich's fish that he catches. So we realized, he's catching Copper River, sockeye salmon, king salmon, like the best fish on the planet. And we realized we should just market that ourselves and let people know how special it is. So that's the long kind of for me. I feel like now I'm putting all those things together when I'm talking and selling fish and doing what I do. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to feel like I'm using all those pieces.
Yeah, I can definitely see how like growing up supported you going into corporate and doing the work that you did, which also brought you full circle back into running your own business. And I'm curious, like, do you feel like your family influenced your leadership more in corporate, or do you think that corporate leadership training that you got really influenced how you support your business now? Like when you think about like your leadership roles and what you learned, like where do you think you had the best learning? Was it growing up or was it more on the corporate side for running a business and having like the skill set to know Not most of the time we're throwing spaghetti at the wall as entrepreneurs anyways, but like where
Hmm.
do you think that thought leadership really came in to play for you?
I think that I feel like my corporate experience was really invaluable. I'm really grateful to have it. And for me, especially because I didn't see that growing up. So my dad was a fisherman and my mom was a business owner, much like myself and my husband. But I saw more of the art entrepreneurial side, and I really did not have a glimpse into corporate life at all. And so, whereas most people might have that flipped, for me, having that experience was really invaluable. Kind of coming in, and it was like, I got hired at this job, and I was just out of college, and really kind of learning the ropes and learning the moves there, and it was a amazing job that I really loved. And they did a lot of leadership training and a lot of personal development, which was, and I took advantage of all that and really enjoyed all of that. So I felt like with our family, the corporate wasn't the right fit with three kids and a husband that's gone half the year, but it was invaluable experience, and actually I still look fondly on that time and
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
There's so many, when I think back to my prior career, I've had my business now for 19 years, so I've been self-employed for a long time, but some of my best memories are when I worked in retail leadership management, like the the leadership, the team building, the ability to like communicate back to other people what you were seeing and give feedback and collaborate and really help support and nurture people to really be their best selves. And sometimes that was moving up within the company, and sometimes it was exiting retail
Hmm.
management and going into other types of work. But there's so many like nuggets I feel like that I pulled that I still use today in my business, even that I don't know that I would have learned it probably at some point because I'm a lifetime learner and I love to learn things and I nerd out on that stuff. But it's like the foundational stuff that we get from those first careers, and then it pulls over and brings into the work that we're doing today.
Absolutely.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced as an entrepreneur, especially with a mama? I think you said you have three kids,
Hmm.
and I'm a mama of four, so I see you. What are some of the biggest challenges that you found, like just balancing like mom life and whether it was in corporate or running your business? Like, what have been the hurdles you've gotten over, and what were the strategies you used to move through
I,
it?
it, I, there's hurdles everywhere, and I will just start by saying, I've worked full-time corporate, part-time corporate while pregnancies and all of that. I've stayed home. I've worked from home full-time, worked from home part-time while doing a part-time. So I feel like I've kind of done the gauntlet in terms of like figuring out what's right with the family and all of that. And I feel like, you know, not only are there no right answers or wrong answers, there's no like I know that sometimes people feel like there's guilt on every side. We all can feel, you know, everybody has guilt about what they are doing or what they're not doing. There's no right answer. I have a really good friend and confidant, and when my kids were really young, she gave me a piece of advice that I use still, and it was basically don't figure out what's forever right. Just figure out what's right now. And that has given me a lot of peace because, things change and they change fast. And especially when you have young kids, um, things are changing all the time. And so just figuring out what's right now really helps. And then giving yourself permission to then make that be different. We have, I mean, it's a silly analogy, but we have a spare room, a garage, converted rec room in our house. And I joke because every 3 months it's a different purpose. It's like, well, right now this is what we need. And later we'll need something else. Our kids are changing, life is changing. So I think it's just that permission to change and not feel like I'm going to make this decision and this is it. This is going to be the decision of all decisions, or this is how I'm going to do it. It's like, this is what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point that you bring up. I'm laughing over here because we've had a lot of change in my house. Like you were talking about, like a room in your house that changes. Like two of my kids are grown adults now. One's at college, one's adulting, and then I have two at home. And my 14-year-old daughter just went through a season of like repainting her room and going to like a teenager room. Like she was adamant she had to paint her walls and like get all new decor. And sometimes like those types of things I don't want to change as much. I'm like, no, I want you to keep your Barbies and stay little and stay small. Like don't grow up. Like your brothers are already grown. Like I'm not ready for you to be grown too. But when I see how that transitions over like into my business and other things, like the best thing I think we can learn, especially as women and leaders and running our business is like change is inevitable. If we've
Mhm.
learned nothing the past 6 years, it's that change is going to come at us and it's going to be like a flying fish and probably smack us right in the face more often than we want. But we have to learn to pivot. We have to move quickly. We have to be able to, get knocked down and then find a way to get back up quickly and find out like maybe not knowing what the strategy is going to be or the best next step to take, but putting ourselves out there and trying anyways and not being afraid to try new things. I think I the biggest lesson I've learned in entrepreneurship is like don't ever get too comfortable because as soon as I get comfortable, something changes, the market shifts, marketing shifts, people shift, administrations and politics and like family and like life happens and we don't
Mhm.
know where it's going to come from next.
Right. Yes, there's always something.
Always something. Keep it. I like kind of like it. It makes me my youngest son plays club soccer, and they always right before a game. My son's like the center defense line, and he tells the team like on your toes, like get ready, like be ready for the ball, like, and they all start like prancercising on the field on the tips of their soccer cleats. And I'm like, that's kind of life. Like we have to be up and on our toes at any given moment because we don't know whether it's health or, a pivot in our business or a client shift or an unexpected opportunity that might come our way. Like we have to be ready. What are some when we think about staying on our toes and being ready, like marketing over the past few years has and visibility has shifted a ton. What are some things that you're using or that have been supportive and helpful for you, like around marketing and just staying visible and making sure people know that your business is there and what you're doing and how you can support?
I really have found throughout this 10-year process, it's been really unexpected. It's not been what I thought it would be at all. And what I have, one thing that I've always thought is that I didn't like to write. I don't like to be, I'm not a writer. I didn't even like to write on birthday cards. I made my husband write birthday cards, you know, and doing this business, like, what I did not realize is being an entrepreneur in this era is being a writer. We're writing so much. If it's product descriptions or captions or whatever, but I ended up early on leaning into email and just because I had to, not because I wanted to write or I saw myself as a writer at all, but it was like, well, we turned on the website, crickets. You know, we have no followers. Um, I guess I'll turn on this email thing that I read about, and try that. And so I think leaning into writing for me, just I have found that email is the place where I can weave my story in and be myself. And to me, it feels like I have a lot to say. I have the fifth generation fishing and the healthy eating and all of this stuff, right? But like it's really hard for me to fit it into a soundbite or a social media post. Like it just feels like too much. And so over time I have leaned into writing in my emails, and I have allowed that personal part of me to come out. However it comes out, I sit down and sometimes I don't even know how this is going to come out, but just kind of allowing that to come out in long form in emails over 10 years. And I have customers who've been on our list and reading the emails and like they've gotten to know me. So I feel like now that I've been doing that for 10 years of kind of being myself and writing, I write about, my kids, we do a lot of wrestling. My husband's a wrestling coach, and sometimes I write about wrestling,
Yeah.
and like put it in the context of fish because we feed our kids healthy fish. But like, that's a fun challenge for me to find ways to be me and having that basically kind of a long form Not just single email, but sometimes, I send an email every Monday. And so sometimes I pick up where I left off the Monday before. And so I think for me, having that outlet, at first I had to really force myself to do it.
Yeah.
And I did it like once a month and just slowly picking up the frequency as I felt comfortable and having that place where it's like, yeah, I don't maybe want to, but just doing it anyways has helped me kind of hone that voice and what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I 100% love that that's what your response was because that's what I teach my clients is to write to their like start an email. That's the only thing that we own. We don't own social
Hmm.
media. We don't own places, but we own our blog post and we own our newsletter list. And
Hmm.
that's the place where we can really connect the most with the people that want to hear from us. Like they've already raised their hand. They're like,
Yeah.
hi, I'm here. Like, I'm interested in what you have to offer. I might not buy today. I might not buy in 2 weeks or 2 months, but maybe 2 years or 6 years from now. Like,
Hmm.
I'm watching, I see you. And when I'm ready, like you've built the trust, you've connected through the storytelling. Messaging's my jam. That's like my favorite thing to do is help people either find their words on stages or if it's on their website or like the words they're writing in their newsletters or their blog posts to really connect. Because like you're so right, like the storytelling is what people want to hear. Like that's to me, it always like I envision like a heartstring from my heart to my reader's heart
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I get responses back and they're like
Yeah.
like and it doesn't even relate like we share stories about wrestling or we talk about our kids playing soccer or we do all these different things, but we pull it back to like why it impacts our business and how it's going to help support them and why we're going to be able to help what they're doing. So I love that you do that. And it's not the easiest because I know like I love to write and it sounds like you've really grown to lean into it. And I know sometimes it's hard to find those moments, but I found like just blocking out like an hour or two on Mondays for myself, like that's when I can be creative. I can sometimes I write and I don't even use what I write. I use something else later, or like
Yeah.
I flip things around, or sometimes I have a plan of what I want to write, but I read something and I get inspired another direction, and then I write a whole different something, and then I have to use what I already wrote the next week or next month whenever it comes back and it feels in alignment. But I think that personal connection can be so valuable. So, is
And
there anything else that you're doing that feels fun right now in marketing and strategy?
I I well, basically, I've just leaned into the emails, and what I've found is like I kind of hinted on, social media isn't exactly my jam. But I have a social media person, and I give her my emails, and just use this as the content of the week, and take bits of it or pieces or however you see fit. But it's been a really nice way to allow me to focus on kind of what I do best, which is this unexpected thing. I have this deadline and this email has to come out of me. And sometimes I sit down and go like, I really don't know, you know, and some of my best emails I've written on a Sunday night because I had to, and I had to dig a little deeper and pull something out. And so I feel like, um, for me, I'm a very focused, and as much as I can stay in one lane, I do better, and so I focus on the emails. That's my primary job, and then she takes that and turns it into social media posts, and then I turn it into a blog post too. So really feeling like, because I know it's going to be utilized, I also really like efficiencies and not wasted time and energy because I don't have a lot of it. But it feels to me like that much more valuable and important to get that weekly email out of me
Yeah,
because
and
it's going
then
to be utilized.
and you're so brilliant to repurpose it because we like I do the same thing. I create for my newsletter list the people that have raised their hand they want to work with like that they're interested. It then gets repurposed to social media. I create a blog post from it. Like we're repurposing in all the ways. So it's doing its job without us having to be social media people because social media is amazing. It's got its great things about it. But in reality, like I don't want to get sucked into social media. Most of my clients are not like searching online or on Instagram looking for me. Like I use LinkedIn a little bit more strategically for like my corporate work. But like if somebody finds me awesome, but usually they're on my social media because they found me somewhere else and they followed me in a different way first. So I love that
Right.
you're purposing and getting yourself out there.
exactly. It still matters. You have to have the presence for them to find and all of that. It just, um, I don't know. It's just
I
not
mean,
my
most
like
people
my
are trained
favorite
these
place.
days. They're like, well, let me go on Instagram and see, like, let me see what's going on or what, let me learn a little bit more about them. Like they go there as like a secondary, not necessarily the first place they're going to find you.
Right.
So I think of it as nurture. Like if you're already in my sphere of influence and you heard me speak at a conference or you got on my newsletter list because of, being on someone's podcast or different things like that, then now I'm just nurturing and
Right.
it's kind of like if you want a Coke, like if you, sometimes I crave a Coca-Cola and it's usually because I saw someone drink it on TV and then I passed one driving down the freeway and then I saw a billboard and then like I walked by, I don't know, like at the grocery store, I see it and I'm like, okay, I want a Coke. Like I've seen it like 76 times in the past like 2 weeks. I just need one. Like
Right.
it's that brand awareness and that nurture piece that, we want to pop up in a couple different places. So when they're ready, they don't go buy fish from somebody else. They're like, I need to call you. Like I know I'm on our list. I got this.
Right. Right. Yeah, and that's I think another piece is, I don't feel bad selling in my emails. So I have a link and I it's fun for me to write about something kind of random and then tie it back to fish and but I always have a link in there and I think of it like my good friends who they talk about something that they enjoy. I'm always like, "Ooh, send me a link," because I'm very busy and I don't want to go look it up. I just want them to send me a link and I'm going to go buy it really fast. And so I feel like for my email list, when I'm raving about a recipe or a fish, I don't feel bad about putting a link in. I feel helpful. Hey,
Yeah.
here's the link. You can just jump right on and buy it. Like I'm saving you time and energy. So I
Yeah.
know that some people feel kind of like salesy around that or weird, but I feel like, um, I feel like it helps people.
Yeah. And they're there because they like what you're offering and what you're talking about. And so why not make it easy for them? And you definitely need to sell to run a business. Like that's the other piece of marketing. As much as we don't want to feel salesy, we want to share story and build those connections and find a way to, stay in the sphere of influence. And when somebody's like, oh, like you should get this email or you should like I read this email and I thought of you and they forward your email to somebody else and then they click an order and all of a sudden they've got amazing fish at their dinner table too, right? Like it's a win-win.
Right, exactly.
So speaking of fish, tell me a little bit more about like how like the products. I think you have like subscriptions and different things, and I'm assuming that you can get it in California or in Texas and Florida, not just only up in Washington. So tell me a little bit about how you run your business with that side and how people might be able to benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mission, I mean, basically, we have always had amazing, the best, like the best fish in our freezer. And raising kids, being busy, I have kids who had wheat and dairy sensitivities. We've had gut issues. And what I have really relied on is the fish in my freezer as a busy mom, but also as somebody that really cares about health. I care what I'm feeding my family. Um, I find that the fish is the easiest thing. I don't have to remember to pull it out the night before. It's very simple. It's a healthy and great thing to eat. And so our mission when we started was basically that some people just don't have access. They're landlocked. They're not by the sea. They can't just go get Copper River salmon anywhere. I mean, they can't even find it at all. And so really our mission was basically very simple that we want just to make our fish available, knowing that it's like the very best in terms of taste, but also nutrition. And for those people that are looking for that care, we just want to make it available. And we want to, well, so we ship to your door, and that's nationwide. And so everywhere in the US, we ship overnight with dry ice. So my husband's in Alaska. He fishes all summer. He does Copper River salmon, but also halibut, black cod, whitefish. And we have other fishermen too. I mean, we've been in the business. I mean, my husband's fished for 25 years, but obviously for generations. So we
Yeah,
know a lot of people. He doesn't catch all of our fish, but we know all the fishermen that do. And we
yeah,
have a processing facility up in Alaska, right there where the boats come in. So we're able to take that catch directly from the boats and we process it up there. processing sounds like we're doing something, but we're just cutting it. We don't add anything. We're just cut into 6 ounce portions, and we wrap each portion with parchment paper because it really helps the quality, and then we vacuum seal individually. And so those individual 6 ounce portions are frozen and they're so easy to defrost. We bring it to your door like that, frozen in these individual packages. So it's getting it to your door, but also in a way that's really easy to use. A lot of people have kind of like, what do I do with it? Like fish is just slightly out of their comfort zone. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to defrost it. I don't know how to cook it. And so we do a lot of work around that. We're just trying to, we're not going to feed everybody. We don't have enough fish, but we really are trying to reach those that are looking for this. So those people that care about wild and sustainable and eating the right thing and the nutritional value of wild and all of that, we're there for them.
Yeah. And I was like, yes, like we were saying that because I'm like, cooking is like already so stressful. Like like we're so busy between work and sports and school and like all the activities. Like the idea of having it already kind of prepped, not that
Hmm.
it's prepped, cooked or anything, but it's like prepped, like I can just cook it without having to like I don't have time to skin a fish. Is that what you do? Skin it? Is that the right name?
Right. Yeah. No, I don't either. I mean, I'm the same. I'm driving home thinking like, "Oh my gosh, I mean, literally, what am I going to do?" And when I try to think of easy stuff, I'm like, "Oh, let's see, do I got some nuggets in the freezer?" I literally tell myself, "Cena, you can pull out some black cod and it'll defrost. I can have it defrosting while I start the rice, and I
Yeah.
can cut up some veggies. And in the amount of time I can make rice, I can cut up veggies, put them on a sheet pan, throw the fish on, season it, put it in the oven, and it's done in 15 minutes. I mean, like, I
Yeah.
can make a good fish dinner in about as much time as I can do a nugget dinner.
Mhm.
Like
It's gonna be taste so much better
it's gonna
and
be
be
so
better
much
for our
better.
body.
And I'm gonna feel better when I eat, we eat a lot of fish and rice and veggies. And when I eat like that, I feel really good. And so, um, but just that piece of making it easy. So that's our, well, I'll let you ask me questions. I don't feel like I'm gonna monologue.
No, go ahead. No,
I was gonna
finish your
say,
thought.
we work at the farmers markets. We started working at the farmers markets. We're doing a lot of face-to-face, one-on-one. And a lot of the questions that people ask was, what after I kind of explain what we do in fifth generation fishing family, they're like, well, how do you cook your fish? And they're not like, how do you cook fish? They're like, how do you cook your fish? And so we created a downloadable cookbook and we send it when people opt in on our list. And we're just trying to answer that first question. Well,
Yeah.
how do you cook your fish?
Yeah. Because you're
And
the expert, because there hasn't been out on a boat for 25
right.
years and half the year. Like you got to be good at this, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. And so we're trying to lean into that piece of, yes, people want really good fish. They want the best. We get it to their door. We're like, we solved the sourcing problem. But
yeah,
the next problem for people is, well, what do I do with it and how do I cook it? So that's our next step. We try to help with that issue.
that's awesome. I love that. And it's such a great, definitely download. I'm going to make sure we have the link in the show notes. So download that free gift because we always need a new recipe. We always need some fresh inspiration. And I absolutely love what you do. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I live in Southern California in Temecula now, and I have access now. But when I was growing up, we didn't, I mean, obviously seafood we brought into Las Vegas area, but like we didn't go fishing. But I remember being probably, I don't know, I was probably like 10 or 11, and my stepdad went on a fishing trip to Alaska. And I remember him coming home with this white styrofoam box like taped up like crazy, and he had brought back like a bunch of fish that was fresh from up there, and that was my first time I ever really remember experiencing like some like a fresh fish that wasn't bought at a grocery store. And so I'm excited to try your fish. I'm definitely gonna take a peek at it because we're all about eating healthy around here, especially it's February now,
Right.
but like we're in that new year vibe and like eating healthier, and we're always looking for new ways. And if I could get my daughter to eat fish, that would be the amazing part. All my other kids love fish. She'll even ask me
Uh,
sometimes with the chicken. She's like, "Are you sure this isn't fish? Like, are you trying to trick me?" And I'm like, "I swear it's not." I did it one time to her and she like caught on immediately. And now she's always like, "Are you sure this isn't fish?"
Oh, that is so funny. I've got blog posts about how to get kids to eat fish.
Perfect. We will
That's
find that,
question
send me that
three.
link. Let's add that to the show notes too. Because I think, like, I have some friends who they grew up their kids eating fish, and I didn't really grow up with it, so it wasn't always a staple. It's something that we
Right,
eat like once or twice a month occasionally now. Like some months I'm really good at it, other months I'm like, oh, we haven't had fish this month. We should have some fish.
right. Yeah.
But I think it's so important. So, well, I'm so glad I got a chance to chat with you. Before we end, I always have a couple questions I'd like to ask my guests in like a little rapid fire round. And so
Okay.
I'm curious, are you binge watching something on TV, or is there a book on your nightstand that you're into reading right now?
Oh my gosh. My husband and I just finished Game of Thrones, which is sort of an old series, but it takes us a long time. He's gone half the year.
Yeah,
We started last spring and we watched the entire thing, and it was really epic and amazing and kind of over the top. And now we're taking a break. It
awesome.
was it was almost too much.
My husband and I just finished, it's an old one too, Mad Men.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
and
I
I
love that
first time
one.
he started watching it and I like got sucked in, and so I ended up watching most of it with him, and I was like, it was pretty good. I was like, I don't like we sometimes watch our own shows because we're too busy to like actually sit down and watch anything together. So it was fun to have something to watch together again. And I have not watched Game of Thrones. He watched it without me and I got mad, so then I just never watched it.
Oh. I mean, it's so long. We've watched parts of it,
Yeah,
but it like to watch the whole thing from beginning to end, and it's like you can rewatch it because you can't possibly remember all that.
yeah, absolutely. And when you need to some you time and you want to reflect and reset and recharge yourself, what's your go-to thing?
Um, I love to go for walks, like by myself, with a podcast, or sometimes just nothing. Just being kind of present, or just if I have a lot that I'm trying to process, I won't even listen to anything. I'll just process. So I really like to go for long walks. And I like reading in the bath
Mm.
for total relaxation, like not thinking.
Yes, like unplugged completely, like
Yeah.
just tuned out. I love it. And I know you want to make a huge impact on the world. I can tell just by the conversation that you're having. Like, what's one piece that you're working on personally to like to leave a legacy for your family?
Um, oh, that's a good big question. I would say Eat Wild to Save Wild is really that education piece that for people to understand that about wild and sustainable fishing, about how to care for a species um, by investing and consuming and making sure it comes back year after year. And it's a really kind of a opposite to what a lot of people might think or have been taught.
Yeah. And theme of the show, attract and stand out. Like, what does stand out to you mean as an entrepreneur and as a mom and as a woman who's helping make our world sustainable and better? Like, what does it mean for you to stand out?
I mean, at the risk of sounding kind of using a buzzword, like being authentic and being you, because um, when I started this, I thought it was about fish, but it's about our family and our legacy and our story. And what people like about us is us. And there are other people there and other ways to sell fish. And so it's really, leaning into and feeling okay talking about the whole thing, and ourselves.
Yeah, love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show with me today. I know people are going to want to find you. What is the best place for them to go or find out more about your fish and how they can get it delivered to your door, or to not to your door, to my door, to their door.
I got plenty. They can check us out on Instagram. I think it's Sena Sea _seafoods. But I really love when people get on our list because, like we talked about, that's the place where I am sharing and connecting, and I get a lot of responses back. And that's really an authentic place where we're connecting with our audience. And so jump on our list, get our cookbook, and it has lots of tips on cooking, and send me your questions because I love to know well, okay, if I can answer your question, I'm probably going to, create something to answer. You probably more people have that same question. So definitely reach out and reply and to the emails. And I talk to a lot of our customers.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a guest. All right, everybody, that's a wrap for another episode of the Attract and Stand Out podcast. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Please hit follow or subscribe or whatever the button is on the platform that you're on today. And stay tuned because we have a lot of amazing thought leaders coming in and sharing their story, sharing their message, and making a big impact in this world. And as always, remember, I believe in you. You're allowed to stand out. You're allowed to shine. You're allowed to be you. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.